Are we back? We're back? Do time out. Hello? Oh, okay. I think it's up and running again. Okay. Okay. Sorry, my internet apparently glitched a tad. Okay, sorry. They're all grey-haired geezers. Wow. Sounds like they'd all be reliable witnesses. Okay, so we just need to find them. Let's see what it says about the photo. This is WP, right? How do you know? Well, look, he's obviously dragging his foot. Oh, right, the director would know about the injury. He was there. The broken foot? I try not to pay attention to things that don't interest me. Lol. Ugh. Why are you staring at me like that? So creepy. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Move. Main gate. Oh, she's back. Aha! You again. Eek. How rude. Acting like you've seen a ghost. You certainly got back to your post quickly. Oh, the police took me away, they did. They pulled out a spare steel samurai costume, told me to put it on. Can you imagine? How could I? A sweet little old lady wear a giant suit like that? Mr. Powers is pretty tall. As soon as they saw there was no way I could wear it, they let me go. I guess that would rule out her being the murderer. Anyway, know this, whippersnapper. This old lady never forgets a slight or insult. And you won't get any information out of me. My lips are sealed. You sure are talking a lot for someone with sealed lips. Starting now. 1, 2, 3. This lady's too much. About that kid you said you saw. If I see him again, I'm taking him down. So much for keeping her lips sealed. Nick, look at her eyes. She's serious. Okay, director at all. And the director, the one who was here on the day of the murder. If I see him again, I'm taking him down. Nick, I think she's losing it. Okay. I'll do anything with you if you're not talking. Maybe see if Will has anything for us now. Hey. No. Okay. Studio main gate. Oh. Hey. Hey, wait. I'll bet he came in right through that drain. Hey, kiddo, what's your name, sport? I'm not a kid, so don't talk to me like that. But you are a kid. What a rude little brat. There's no way he'd talk to an adult. I don't see no adults here, hippie fashion chick. Hippie fashion? Nick, I think I'm being mocked. Got to hand it to Maya. She's pretty sharp and pretty mad. I'm Cody Hackins. Call me kiddo again and I'll put you down when you stand, evildoer. Okay, so how are you? So, you're a fan of the Steel Samurai. How dare you utter that name, evildoer? What do you mean? We're on the Steel Samurai side. Huh. You can't fool me. Okay, that's what the last line said by the innkeeper in episode 8. Huh, easy. Like some fries with that? Not bad, kiddo. Watch it. What are they doing? Say, you heard anything about the incident the other day? You were here, weren't you? Did you see anything? He always, the Steel Samurai always wins. Always. Yeah, I saw him. Okay. What? But no way am I telling you losers. What? Wait. Let me go. He's gone. Something fell off the table when he bumped into it on his way out. A bottle? Why was this sitting there, I wonder? Empty bottle labeled sleeping pills. Anyway, what was that kid saying? He saw everything? Okay. So does that mean he actually saw anything, or... I don't know. Main gate. Where's that old windbag? Odd of her to leave her post. Hey! Nick, that was her. Stop, whippersnapper. Yeah, sounds like she's chasing after that boy. Natch! Uh-oh, she tripped. Maya sure looks happy. Oh, if there's no one here... Hey, Nick! Now's our chance. Let's check out the guard station. Good idea. Oh! This is it, Nick. The trailer key. The key to that trailer in Studio 2. Oh, that was Phoenix. We'll be borrowing this. Right, Nick? Key tag reads Studio 2 trailer. Okay, let's head there. Boom. I wonder if the key we borrowed from the guard station will work. It opened! Great, let's go, Nick. She seems eager all of a sudden. Well, you first, Nick. Oh, not that eager. Okay, let's go inside. Dynamite Samurai, Samurai Summer, Singing Samurai. Okay. Oh, who's this? Eek! Someone's in here. Names. Our names? We're WP's lawyers, and I see. And who might you be? Dee Vasquez, the producer. The Vasquez, she's quite beautiful. Let's chat. I was wondering if you could tell me about the day of the murder. Miss Vasquez? Script. Excuse me? Script. I'm looking for a script. Script? The Steel Samurai, episode 13. I need it. Could we ask you a bit about the day of the murder? I need to read it. We're getting nowhere fast. We really want to ask you about the Steel Samurai. Miss Vasquez? It's on TV, every week. That's all I have to say about that. Nick, she's telling us to go watch TV, the nerve of her. Hey, don't get mad at me. About the director, Sal Manella, was it? What exactly is his role here? Perhaps I didn't make myself clear. I'm looking for a script. I can't be bothered with anything else. Nick, are all people in the entertainment business this weird? It's starting to look like it. Nick, let's get out of here. Isn't there someplace else we have to check? Yeah? Wait. Yes? If you see Manila, give him this. Why do we have to do your errands? I don't think I like her. Don't cry. She'll take it as a sign of weakness. Alright, we'll give it to him if we see him. It's a memo, okay. Okay, we'll probably have to wait until she gets that script before she'll actually talk to us. There we go. No, this one. Then, here, I got this from the producer. Bring me the script for episode 13. Oh, hello, Daisy Flower. Nice to meet you. How's your day going so far? Episode 13. Where did I put that one? I must have left it somewhere. Uh-oh. My ass is pwned if I don't find it. Nick. It might be quicker to just look in all the places where he's likely to have been. I agree. Okay. Maybe, yeah, we'll check the employee area then. The remains of the other day's lunch are scattered around. Everyone was probably too shocked to clean up. T-bone? Okay, we'll check the Studio 1. We're back at the scene of the crime. Let's find out what we need and get out of here. Quick, Nick. Okay, excuse me. Daisy Flower, I hope you're enjoying the game so far. I finished it last year and enjoyed it. Oh, yes, I'm really liking it so far. The characters are quite funny, I've got to admit. But no. If you finished it last year, what was your favourite case? Oh. No, I want to examine. Hey, look! That's the chair the director sits in. Always want to sit in one of these. The director. Maya, take a look around the chair for me, would you? I'm sorry. Please fire. Trials and Tribulations. Ooh. Is that the... Ah, this one, the next one in the series. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing the whole set. Ooh. Oh, actually, excuse me, 2 seconds. Excuse me, just adjusting myself on the seat. Okay. Remember that script the director was talking about? Didn't he say he'd left it somewhere? You look like a character from the second game. Oh, I do? Oh, I'll have to keep my eye out for them then. I've stolen their look. No, jokes. Oh, I'll be intrigued to know if it's just a character or a suspect. Well, one way to find out is for me to get to it, I guess. Oh, found it, Nick. The script. Good work. Oh, it's a bit stained. Oh, okay. Let's go take it back to the director. Here you go. Here, we found it. Your script. Ah. Script handed to the Vasquez. You're not going to talk to us. Quiet. I'm reading. Just you hold on. What's the big idea? Who do you think you are anyway? And do you even know who we are? Powers lawyers. Right. Am I a suspect? No, it's just, well, no, but... You wanted to know about the day of the murder? Yes! Anything you could tell us would be a great help. A big help. You know there was a meeting here at noon? Yes, with the director and people from the network. Correct. Now listen closely. None of the people in this trailer that afternoon went to Studio One. It was impossible for us to leave. Impossible? Why? The path was blocked. The path? Wait. I guess maybe the guide map? It doesn't really show the tree, but I'm not interested. This? No. Do we not have anything? Oh, okay, I must have pressed it by accident, my bad. On the day of the murder, the path that leads here was blocked? You saw Mr. Monkey on the way here, correct? Mr. Monkey? The monkey with the broken head. Oh right, that. What an original name. Oh, so that's the top down. Its head fell over in the wind on the day of the murder. They didn't start moving the head out of the way until after 3 o'clock. It was after 4 by the time the path was unblocked. Capiche? Everyone in this trailer was stuck here until the path was cleared. Stuck in this trailer, stuck until after 4. Hammer died at 2:30. Thus, none of us could have gone to Studio One. What? It's true. A crane came just after 3 to move the head. We called some people in to clear the way. I'm sure they'd corroborate my story. But wait. What if the head fell over after 2:30? Then you could have gone to Studio One. 2:30, the time of death. Very well. Come. That's Mr. Monkey. When it wasn't broken, it announced the time in ooks. 1 ook per hour. Ook, 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 ook. Always with the ooking. It is a monkey after all. Check its head. The clock inside stopped when it broke. Nick, it stopped at 2:15. 2:15? That's right. Okay, so 15 minutes before the murder. The path was blocked from 2:15 till after 4. Therefore, we're innocent. Mr. Hammer died in Studio One at 2:30. See? Goodbye. Okay. What do we do, Nick? There isn't anyone beside WP who could have killed Hammer. It's over. We're finished. It sure doesn't look good. Guess we should head back to the office and plan our strategy. Okay. October 18th, Wright & Co. Law offices. Now what? We're fresh out of clues. Everyone's alibi is watertight. We don't even have any promising leads. Things are looking pretty grim. It's a little early for giving up, don't you think? Huh? You've got 1 lead. Mia? It's you! What took you so long? Sorry, Phoenix. Maya has trouble calling me unless she's really in trouble. Right. Oh, wait. I guess it means we're really in trouble. I'd say so. What did you mean? We have one lead? The boy, of course. Oh yeah, he said he saw everything. But no way am I telling you losers. I don't know. He didn't sound like he was going to help us at all. I'm sure you can find some way of bringing him over to our side. Either way, we should go back to the studios. That boy's our last hope, Phoenix. Thanks. Now I'm more worried than I was before. Okay. This lady. Me. Any slight exercise. What's wrong? Whippersnapper! She's been chasing that boy this whole time. When I catch him, sometimes she hasn't had any luck catching him. I got a hostage now, Whippersnapper. A hostage? We'll have a chat first. What happened to the boy? If I see him again, I'll lay him flat. My, what a violent old lady. Actually, I met with the director just now. My heart, I don't feel so good. Is she okay? Before I go, I'd like to visit the place where poor Hammer died. Right, she was saying she wanted to visit the studio where he died. What's this about a hostage? When that boy was running away, he dropped this and ran. He'll come back. For this one. Kinda hard to understand how we call that something is nothing. Phoenix, that hostage might be what we need. Cody might talk to us if we give him that. Good idea. Miss Oldbag, right? No. I'm catching that brat. It's the last thing I do. Phoenix, do you have anything that you might trade with her? Trade? I wonder... Do we have anything we can trade? Maybe the keys? Miss Oldbag, I'm borrowing this, just so you know. Okay. Just be sure to give it back. She's not as demanding when she's exhausted. Sleeping pills? Murder weapons? Maybe the card key? Hey, that's a card. Studio 1? Right, a card key to Studio 1. I could visit poor Hammer. I'd like to visit. He died. I was his fan. You don't have your own card, Miss Oldbag? Studio 1 isn't my turf. You'll let me borrow it then? If I give her the card key, then I won't be able to get into Studio 1. Lend her the card key. Why don't you let her borrow it, Phoenix? I guess it can't hurt. Here you go, Miss Oldbag. Listen to me, Sonny. I don't like having debts to no whippersnappers. You take this and we're even. Deal? What's this? A Steel Samurai trading card. That sneaky kid dropped it. I figure it's pretty important to him, though. Thank you. I might have a use for this. This must be the hostage she was talking about. Oh. And sorry, excuse me. I got Doctor, I hate the interactions of Phoenix is treated like a toddler. True. Well, he is a toddler. Oh yeah, I guess he is. Pretty new to amateuring, but yeah, I mean, especially this lady calling us a whippersnapper. I mean, jeez. Doctor, yeah, but it takes the winds out of your sails. And Jews ex mia shows it. Oh, I mean, yes, definitely. Just going about our way, rocking our stuff, and then boss lady shows up and gives us all the answers. Excuse me. Right, I'm off. There she goes, hobbling off towards the studio. Okay, maybe he'll be in the employee area? Yeah. Hey! Hey you, wait a sec. Phoenix? Was that the boy? Yeah, his name's Cody Hackins. I think he ran into the dressing room. Okay, I'll go inside. He's sure to be in here somewhere. Found you! Damn it, he's getting away. Come back! There, he's back. How did she... Hey there, would you mind helping us out? Please? I'm Cody. He likes me. I enjoy it. I do have to admit, the fact that this boy is just like, I'll talk to the lady. I'll talk to the pretty lady. Hello, Cody. I'm Mia Faye. Nice to meet you. Yo! And I'm Phoenix Wright. Who asked? I like this kid. Phoenix, you can take it from here. I'm not so sure I'm qualified. The Steel Samurai is so cool. I think he's the bomb. Oh, Phoenix should not try this tool. Ha, what would a lamer like you know about the Steel Samurai? Hey, what's that attitude? Phoenix, you really shouldn't yell like that. He's only a kid. Yeah, don't yell like that. I'm only a kid. So, do you know anything about what happened here? Could you tell me, please? I don't know nothing. Seems like a little persuasion's necessary. Maybe a bribe? Yeah. Really wants his stuff back. Cody, this looks familiar. Hey, you are. You are? You are, ultra rare. The card's really hard to get. Man, for a grown-up, you sure are dumb. This kid's baby. I'll give you this if you help me. But that's my card. By offering me something I already own, you're in effect skewing the very basis of our consumer society, namely the principle of fair trade. Man, for a grown-up, you sure are dumb. What do they teach these kids in school these days? Quantum physics? Whatever, I don't need that card. I got a double. Just keep it. It's yours. What? After I went through all that trouble? If you want to trade, find me a really rare card. Really rare? You mean there's something rarer than ultra rare? Ultra rare premium cards are way rarer than plain ultra rare cards. Come on. Man, for a grown-up, you sure are dumb. Premium, rare... Why do I feel like we're talking about stakes? Okay, we're gonna have to go find something. Maybe... Studio 2 will have something? That's where they have all the meetings, so they might have merch and stuff, because they had all the posters. Oh, hi. Hello, what brings you here? Oh, well, I had to arrange some stuff. Yes? The, girl with you, doesn't she seem a little different? Like, is she even the same person as before? No, she's the same as always. Same as always. Okay, whatever you say. Give us some info. Have you seen that boy since then? Nope. You missed it though. The security lady was chasing around after the boy so fast, I thought she'd collapse. Of course, he got away in the end. Boy, was she mad. Actually, we saw them. How's the old windbag doing? She was squeezing donuts through her clenched fists back at the guard station. Some people take their jobs a little too seriously. Mr. Hammer. Are all the posters on the wall here of Hammer? Yes. It's really terrible loss for the studios. But his popularity had been waning recently, right? That's true. Then again, after what happened? After what happened? You mean you don't know about Hammer? No, what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. What happened? Wait, now you have to tell me. What happened with Hammer? I'm sorry. I'm probably not the one who should tell you. Uh-oh, why do I get the feeling something's being covered up? 'Cause it is. If I show her these cards, will she have one in exchange? Do you know anything about this? Hey, that's a Steel Samurai trading card. I collect those, actually. I'm one card away from a complete set. A complete set? Yeah, a set of one of each card. Wait. That's it. That's the card I need. You don't know how long I've been looking for it. I don't care what kind of girl you might think I am. I need that card. Please, I beg you, please trade with me. Trade with you? Yes, trade cards. No, I'll even trade you an ultra rare premium card. Trade me at home? Yes, it's a good deal for your ultra rare. Please. Phoenix, can't you see she's desperate? What's everyone getting so excited about? Yes, we'll trade. Okay. Really? Thanks! Then this is for you. You are Picard. Yahoo! And there she goes. Doesn't doing good things like that make you feel great? Yeah, it does. Okay, let's go back to the kid. Oh. Or I can just press all the wrong buttons. That's also what I can do. There we go. What do you think about this bad boy? See this card? Yeah, so, wait, that's it. That's the last ultra rare premium card I need. Come on, give it to me, please. You gotta give it to me. Wow, never seemed so eager. Right, okay, how about a trade? You're on. I'll give you a samurai spear and throw in an evil magistrate to boot. No. Not that kind of trade. I don't want cards. I want information. You sure? Fine by me. Okay, so he's got it now. Okay, Phoenix, let's hear what he has to say. If you know something that can help us, we can have him take the stand tomorrow. Okay, we'll start with this one. Hey, it's the Steel Samurai. Why is he dragging his foot like that? Where'd you get this anyway? Okay, maybe not. The Samurai Spear, that's totally cool. I wish I had one too. This kid and Maya would get along great. Maybe not. Oh, here we go. So you like the Steel Samurai? He's so cool. I guess. You're judging by his looks. You have to look at his actions, at his life. I'm being lectured on life by a grade school. You like him too, don't you? Oh me? Yeah, I love the Steel Samurai. So tell me what your favourite thing about the Steel Samurai is. His kind nature, his fighting skills, willpower's acting. I'll say the acting. Oh no, wait, I'll have to bend it to this kid. His kind nature? Right, come on, think of something. I really like his kind nature. What a guy. Totally. He looks so tough, but inside he's as gentle as a kitten. Yeah. So what else do you like about him? Don't tell me, I have to keep this after. So tell me what about your favourite thing in his samurai. Okay, so fighting skills? Got to think of something. I like it when he vanquishes his foes. Yeah, Wazam. The Steel Samurai always wins. Always! Check this out, it's my fan album. Oh, that's cute, that's cute. What the? It's all pictures of Steel Samurai. I go to every live performance. Those stupid publicity stunts where they beat each other up in public. I always take a picture when the Steel Samurai lands the final blow. Wazam! I got them all. I never missed one. A perfect collection. Check it out, my new digital camera. Wow, that's very impressive. The newest model, isn't it? You bet, lady. I just got it for my birthday. My album has a name. Want to hear it? The Steel Samurai, Path to Glory. The Steel Samurai always wins. Always. Hey, if you want this, you can have it, lady. Really? Are you sure? Yeah, I took these with a digital camera. I got all the data at home, so I can always make another one. Well then, I'm happy to accept. Thank you. Okay. What's with people always giving stuff to Mia? What a life. Okay, what happened? You were here on the day of the incident, right? Yeah. Did you see anything unusual? Cody? Cody, he needs to know because he's fighting for justice. Isn't that the Steel Samurai's motto? For great justice? You have to help us fight for the great justice too. I saw everything. Well, we might get some useful information out of him yet. It's very you can't even get that. Oh my god. Yep, absolutely everything. Even a smack to the head. Okay. Cody, I need to ask you something very important. What did you see on the day of the incident? I got here that day around 2. I had to come in through the woods out back so that old lady wouldn't see me. I got kinda lost though. I was in there for maybe half an hour or so. Then I finally got to the studio. After that... What is it, Cody? The Steel Samurai killed that bad guy. He used a samurai spear. Just like always. 1 shot, 1 kill. It happened so fast, I got scared. I went home after that. I see. It must have been hard for you. Man, you say those nice things, but it's so obvious you're not speaking from the heart. Right. Mia? Yes? I think we can say for sure this means the Steel Samurai did it. True enough. And the director has an alibi, so it wasn't him. Indeed. So the only person left who it could have been is Will Powers. I have to admit, it's kind of a shock. But if you put this boy on the witness stand, your client will be guilty for sure. Let's not call him then. I think that would be wise. Best to leave this one alone. Not so fast, pal. Oh, it's Gumshoe. I heard everything. This boy here's a key witness. And he's under police protection starting now. Come on, son. You got a rendezvous with me down at the precinct. No, I ain't going. Wah. That didn't go so well. We're back to 0 leads. And now we have a serious handicap in court. What are we gonna do, Mia? Well, I really need to be going. And now she just up and leaves us. Don't worry, Phoenix. I'm sure you'll be fine. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come to the trial tomorrow, please. I need you there. Excuse me a sec. What is that noise? Sorry, weird noise near me. Don't know what it was. Oh well. Phoenix, can I ask you something? Do you really believe that Mr. Powers is innocent? Yeah. Of course he is. Dr. Sark, Mia arrives, him. Yes, you're done. Then Ninja vanished. She gone. She gone in seconds. That's all I wanted to hear. Excellent. I'll see you in court then. Great. Thanks, Mia. See you soon. To be continued. Oh, yes, please. For trial time. October 19th, 9:42 AM. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Mr. Wright? Yeah? Why do you look so unhappy? Oh, nothing. Really, it's nothing. Right, Mia? Uh-oh, she looks even unhappier. Phoenix? Your client is now practically a dead man walking. Perhaps that's why I feel so particularly close to him? Oh my gosh. There's no time for dead people jokes, please. You know we're going into this trial utterly defenseless. Yet if Mr. Powers is truly innocent, we should be able to find something overlooked in the evidence to prove it. Something overlooked? We have to find something, Phoenix, today. It's that or lose the trial. This isn't going to be easy. Right, Dr. Salt, well, you can tell how this game really is. It's this indoor ashtray right there. Oh my god, there is. I guess they can still smoke in these lobbies. Damn. Oh. Courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honour. The defence is ready, Your Honour. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. An unexpected fact has come to the attention of the court. Yesterday, we learned that there were other people present at the studios. Today, I would like to show evidence proving they had nothing to do with the murder. Very well. You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. I wonder if it will be the producer. The prosecution calls Mr. Salmonella to the stand. Call that director. Oh, if he does the creepy faces again, I swear. Will the witness state his name and profession? How rude can you get? You don't know me? I'm the director. I may still samurai. Noob, ruffle. So, Salmonella. I'm a director. Television. Got intimidated. Were you at Global Studios on the day of the murder? Yes, Your Honour. Very well. Please testify to the court about the events of that day. Phoenix. Let's start by picking this testimony apart. If Powers is innocent, you know what that means. Someone in the trailer on that day did it. Right. She doesn't waste any time putting on the pressure. Okay, day of the murder. I was at the studios from around 9 that morning. During the morning, I was doing an action scene run through. It took a lot more time than I thought it would. You hear that everyone else ate lunch in the employee area. But I had a meeting in the Studio 2 trailer, so I ended up skipping lunch. We were in the meeting until around 4. During the meeting, well, I'm pretty sure no one left their chairs. That's about it. The time of Mr. Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. and according to your testimony, you were in the meeting at that time. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honour. Okay, day of the murder. I was at the studios around 9 that morning. Okay. During the morning, I was doing an action scene. It took a lot more time than I thought it would. Yeah, that everyone else ate lunch in the employee area. But I had a meeting in the Studio 2 trailer, so I ended up skipping lunch. Okay. We were in the meeting until around 4. During the meeting, well, I'm pretty sure no one left their chairs. Phoenix, if his alibi holds, Powers is finished. Press him as hard as you can and find out where he's lying. Obviously. 9. Maybe as well as that. 9. That's correct. More than 4. Okay, that everyone else ate lunch in the employee area, but I had a meeting in Studio 2 trailer, so I ended up skipping lunch. But if everyone had lunch there, except... Sorry. If everyone had lunch in the employee area, but you had to skip it, that means everyone else would have skipped it as well, so everyone else would have had lunch. So in the end, you didn't get to eat. Yeah. No steak, at least. Can you believe it? That must have been tough. Phoenix? Yeah? Doesn't something about that seem odd to you? Yeah, it's contradictory. Because more people would have skipped lunch, and then it wouldn't have been everyone else skips lunch. Yeah, it just seemed odd now that you mention it. Mr. Manella. What do you want? When I went to Studio 2, I saw something on the table there. There were 2 plates. Oh, there was plates on the table. So they ate there? The same kind of plates as the ones in the employee area. You ate lunch there? No. Good call. I was embarrassed, so I didn't mention it. But I did eat after all. Oh, not the tongue! Ugh. A T-bone steak, you mean? Yeah, well, I mean the assistant went through all that trouble. No, I brought it to the trailer thinking I could eat it later. Clearly a man who likes to eat, I suspected as much. So when exactly did you eat it? We took 1 break during that meeting. Ugh, I wolfed it down then. Ugh. A mental image I will carry with me to my grave. Wait a second. If they took a break in the meeting, that contradicts his testimony. I'll press on that one a bit more. We were in the meeting for around 4, oh, that's where it is. We took a break. What were you discussing? Still Samurai Story and our budget? Get this. The sponsors turn to me and say, Mr. Manella, those scripts of yours are not appropriate for children. Can you believe it? Actually, I kind of can. So nobody left the table during the whole meeting. During the meeting, well, I'm pretty sure no one left their chairs. But you said they took a break to have lunch. Hold it. You didn't take a single break. Well... Yeah, not a one. What What's he sweating so much about, I wonder? If only I had an idea. Wait a second. Maybe I do have an idea. Press harder. Wait a second. Mr. Manella, you just contradicted yourself. Didn't you just tell the court that you ate that T-bone steak during a break? Oops. Ruffle. Well? Mr. Manella, what's this all about? Well, yeah, I guess we did take a little break. Phoenix, great job. If they took a break, one of them could have gone to the studio during that time. Your Honor, I call on the witness to testify to the court about this break. Very well. Mr. Manella, your testimony, please? Ugh. Uh-oh. Edgeworth is laughing. Okay, the break. Yeah. But we took a break, Ruffle. But it was only 15 minutes. 15! That's only 13 in base 12. Not enough time for someone to say commit murder in Studio 1 wall. Ugh! Grosses me out so much. It's only just enough time to eat a T-bone steak, if you ask me. Steams. I don't think it would even be enough time for that, but that's just me. Very well, you may begin the cross-examination. Okay, the break. Yeah, we took a break. Ruffle. It was only 15 minutes, 15, that's only 13 in base 12. Not enough time for someone to say commit murder in Studio 1. The tongue, I don't like it. Why is that? There's only just enough time to eat a T-bone steak, if you ask me. I thought I pressed it. 12 minutes. The testimony was too short to wring any kind of useful information out of it. All you have to do is prove that he was able to go to Studio 1 in that time. No break, is that? Yeah, we took a break. Okay. What time exactly did you take the break? I'd say it was from around 2:30 or so until 2:45. 2:30? That's the time of death. So he could have gone to Studio 1, killed Hammer and come back. I guess it's possible time-wise. But it was only 15 minutes, 13 in base 12. Okay. Not enough time for someone to say commit murder in Studio 1. Ugh. It's only just enough time to eat T-bone steak, if you ask me. I have to say, you look like a guy who gets through his meals pretty fast. That's rude. Well, I was facing a cold, slightly chewy T-bone steak. Even I have to take my time eating that kind of food. Phoenix? That testimony was too short to bring out any kind of useful information. All you have to do is prove it. Okay, I'm going to do all of them. Time exactly? 2:30, 2:45. What were you doing for those 15 minutes? Eating my T-bone steak. What else? There were 2 plates on the table. Oh, right, the other one was Venus. Sorry, B. Vasquez plate. B. Vasquez, the producer. To eat a T-bone steak in 15 minutes, that's quite a feat. Not enough time for someone to commit murder. Why is that?
Objection!
Haven't we had enough of this pointless line of questioning? Your Honor, the testimony to this point has made one certain fact painfully clear. The people in the trailer had nothing to do with this murder. It was impossible for any of them to go to Studio 1. What? Something wrong, Mr. Wright? Surely you aren't suggesting one of the people in the trailer went to Studio 1? Well, Mr. Wright? Phoenix, this is critical. Think about it before you give your answer. Do you claim someone from the trailer went to Studio 1? No. No, probably not. I mean, the plates were definitely there as proof that they'd eaten something. Yeah, that's probably impossible. I don't want to write off so many possible suspects. But I can't keep claiming the impossible either. I agree that it was impossible for anyone in the trailer to go to the studio in that time. Haha! I thought you might be thoughtlessly treading on thin ice again. But I see you had at least an inkling of the truth. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? It's quite simple. True, the break-in the trailer meeting came right at the time of death. However, the path from there to the scene of the crime was blocked. The fallen Mrs. Monkeyhead barred the way. At around 2:15, a strong gust of wind knocked off the studio's mascot's head. Ergo, when the people in the trailer took a break at 2:30, the way to the studio was blocked. Blocked by Mrs. Monkey's severed head. I thought it was Mr. Monkey. It's actually Mr. Monkey, but Edgeworth has a point. And somehow I feel no desire to correct him. I believe we have seen enough evidence. I would like to relieve Mr. Miller from the stand. What? It's over? Very well. The court's opinion on this case is as follows. We have found that there were several other people in Studio 2 on the day of the murder. However, it is also clear that none of these people could have gone to Studio 1. They, therefore, have no relation to this case. Furthermore, with regards to the photo of the Steel Samurai, given the size of the costume, no one other than Mr. Powers could have worn it that day. All that is lacking is the decisive evidence that he is the one who did it. If we had that, I'm afraid I would have to find Mr. Powers guilty. Your Honour, the prosecution is pleased to announce that we indeed have decisive evidence. A witness. Who is this witness, Mr. Edgeworth? My witness saw the very moment when the Steel Samurai skewered the victim. Get out of here. Order. I will have order. I see. The court will take a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear your witness. Court is adjourned for recess. Okay. 11:04 a.m. What do we do now, Mia? If everyone in that trailer has an alibi. I'm sorry, Phoenix. I guess I was wrong. Mia? Don't tell me you're giving up. If you give up, what hope do I have? Don't get me wrong. I've never given up on a trial before, not while there was a chance. Only one thing became clear in your cross-examination. The people in the trailer could not have gone to Studio 1. I thought there was more to it than that. But I was wrong. That's all there is. What's going to happen to me? It kind of seems like everyone in that courtroom thinks I did it. They think I'm a murderer. Don't worry, Mr. Powers. If you are innocent, we will prove it. I guarantee it. Leave it to us, and be yourself. Be strong. You are the Steel Samurai, hero to children everywhere, after all. Thanks. Okay, Phoenix. This one's for the kids. Let's do it. Okay, 11:15 a.m. Court is back in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution has a concern. As our witness is a grade schooler of tender years, and this is a murder case, we worry that the defense might cause unnecessary trauma with his cruel questioning. I see Edgeworth taking the moral high ground. However, we have no choice. The prosecution calls Cody Hackins to the stand. He's so small on the stand. Your Honour, perhaps you could arrange a box for him to stand on? Oh, right. Guard, please bring him a box. One of those donut crates should do. There we go, we can see his face. Will the witness state his name and grade in school? Witness? What? Just because you're all grown-ups don't mean you can push me around. Cody, answer his question, okay? Hey, it's you, the nice lady. I'm Cody Hackins. I'm in 2nd grade. I get the feeling this is going to be a long, long day. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember that you're speaking to a child. Try to be gentle. Witness, I mean Cody. He's having trouble with this gentle thing. You were present, you were at Global Studios on the day of the incident. You got a problem with that? Please tell us what you saw that day. What, Pops? You want me to tell you and Gramps with the beard over there? Just, Mr. Edgeworth would be right. I've never been a gentleman myself. A very long day. Incidentally, photographic equipment is strictly forbidden in this courthouse. My apologies, Your Honour. He said he wouldn't testify if he couldn't bring it. I'd like special permission if that's possible. Wait, so you're saying you had a bargain terms of a kid and you lost? Classic. Hey, I just got this new camera. Don't really know how to use it all that good yet. But I bring it with me wherever I go. Phoenix? I wonder if he had that camera on the day of the murder. You better make a note of it in the court record. Okay. Very well, Cody. Please testify to the court about what you saw on the day of the incident. Okay. I want you to see a still samurai rehearsal, just once. I found a map on the internet and went to the studios that day. I went through the woods off the path so that old lady wouldn't catch me. I was going to the studio. I got kinda lost on the way though for about 30 minutes. When I came out by the studio, there was the steel samurai. You're totally wrong. Right before my eyes, out came the bad guy. Of course, the steel samurai took him down. Pow! If I had my camera with me, that would have been the time for a shot, I tell you. He said he has his camera on as always. Anyway, I couldn't get into the studio, so I went home. Well, I know what I'm pressing first. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. But be gentle. Remember, you're talking to a child. This kid is tougher than most adults we see in here, honestly. Yeah, probably. Okay. Wanted to see a still samurai rehearsal just once. Where is the camera? Wait, what does my court record say? Cody always carries it. Objection! Objection! Cody, what you just said seems, well, a little strange. Didn't you say before you always bring your digital camera wherever you go? You were quite clear about that. Huh? Cody, you shouldn't lie here. You understand that, right? Mr. Wright, a word with you? Uh-oh, was I putting the pressure on too much? What is this digital camera contraption you're talking about? He doesn't know. Ooh. Lord. It's, a digital camera, Your Honour. It's kind of a new sort of camera. How do I explain that? I see. Anyway, Cody, I can't believe you wouldn't bring your camera on a trip to the studios. You did bring it, didn't you?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, how cruel you are to terrorise a poor child so. I don't care if he's a child or a prosecuting attorney. No one should lie in court. What do you mean, or a prosecuting attorney? Do you all of a sudden feel old? So old! So old! I'm not even that old and I feel it. Oh. Well, Cody? What? Yeah, so I had my camera, so what? You got a problem with that? Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember on like a school camp, I had like one of those old like the cameras you had to like spin the dial and like rev up in order to take the photo. Oh my god! And then there's this guy being like, what's a digital camera? Memories. So, you did have a camera. And did you use this camera? Why would I use it? I was too busy watching. Very well. Please testify to the court about what you were so busy watching. What I saw. Okay, new testimony. Yeah, I had my camera with me, but I was glued to the action. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Still Samurai. He goes for the bad guy. Wham. Then the bad guy stopped moving. He's so strong. The Steel Samurai rules. Okay. Ah, is that all? Well, that was brief. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination? Okay. Yeah, I had my camera, but I was glued to the action. I couldn't take my eyes off it. The Steel Samurai, he goes for the bad guy. Wham. Then the bad guy stopped moving. Why does he hesitate? He's so strong, the Steel Samurai rules. Something about his account doesn't seem right. Phoenix, it doesn't seem right because he's being deliberately vague. So it is where he's hesitating. Press him on the facts, Phoenix. Find out what he saw. Yeah, then the camera. Hold it! Why? Huh? What do you mean, why? Why wasn't the bad guy moving? What was the Steel Samurai brought him to justice? And how exactly did he do that? How did he? With a samurai kick and a samurai punch, samurai chop, samurai slap. Something like that. He's still being vague about this. What? Don't give me that look, Pops. How should I play this? Wait and see what happens to press him harder. I'll press him harder. A little bit. Cody? What? Something's bothering me. Before you said that you couldn't take your eyes off the action. Yeah, so what? Yet you missed the most important part.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? The witness has stated what he saw quite clearly.
Objection!
You know as well as I do that he's being vague. Tell me what kind of murderer uses a samurai slap. My point is this. Cody, you may have seen some of the Steel Samurai's fight, but you missed the most important part, killing blow. And he has that scrapbook he always puts the final blow in. Oh, we can use that. Order. Mr. Wright, how could this be? Can you explain how he might have missed something so vital? That's the thing. Phoenix, I believe you're on the right track with this. Think, why didn't Cody see the climax of the fight? I know you can figure this out. Mr. Wright, your answer? We have ascertained that this young boy is a great fan of the Steel Samurai. Why wouldn't he watch the climax of the fight? He couldn't watch it, he was watching something else. Show evidence. Yeah, we can show his camera. He would have taken a photo of the last thing. I have evidence. Evidence? Yes, Your Honor. Why did Cody look away from the fight? Because he was taking a photo of the final blow. Like that. Here's my proof. What's that? The camera? The witness stated that he recently received this camera. Yes, I'm aware of that. He wasn't entirely familiar with its operation. I'm aware of that too. Ah, correct. Why would Cody be looking somewhere else at the critical moment? Because he was looking at his camera. He was trying to take a picture. Hey! Bullseye! What's your problem, Pops? You got a thing for picking on little kids? Pressing, not picking. Good job, Phoenix. Cody was lying, clearly. Smart of you to realise there was no way he could just stand there watching his hero and not take a picture. Right. Cody, there was only one reason why you would have looked away from the fight, and that was because you wanted to take a picture. Now, having just received your camera, you weren't used to using it yet. So you missed the climax of the fight, correct? Yeah. Hi, Lobo. Good morning. We're in the day 2 of our trial for this case so far. We're interrogating a child. Well, Phoenix? I'll bet you anything he's hiding more than that. Have him testify again. Right. Near means business. Your Honour, the defendant would like to request that Cody Hackins testify once more. Very well. Cody? Cody, could you please tell us about your camera? And about why you didn't take a picture of the fight? Welcome to the real world, kid. Witness testimony. Yeah, you're right, Pops. The Steel Samurai had just escaped from the clutches of the villain. Oh god. Yeah, look at this kid! So I held up my camera to take a picture, but the lens wouldn't open in time, so I missed it. That's all that happened. Yup. Anything strange in the testimony, Mr. Wright? A couple things. I'm not sure. But I'd like to proceed with the cross-examination anyway. I think the last thing he said was suspicious. Yeah, you're right, Pops. Still Samurai has escaped, so I had a camera. Lens wouldn't open times, so I missed it. That's all that happened. Yup. I mean, he probably still could have seen it. That's all? Yeah, I told you. I didn't take a picture. I would have once I got the lens open. Did he really not take a picture? Not even one? Pressing hard. Nah, he definitely would have taken a picture. There's got to be something here I can use. Cody? Listen up, Cody Hackins. I know exactly what happened that day. You took a picture. Hey. Bullseye. How did you know? I see through all your lies, Cody Hackins. It's one of my powers. Wow. This feels great. Proving that a kid lied. There was a, yeah, so you went live 4 AM my time. 4 AM? Wait, what time is it? 9:26. I thought it would have been like 5 AM. I mean, that's unreasonable. I guess clocks change. But yeah, I've been going for a bit of a while. Internet interruption at one point, but we're good. Yeah, I took a picture. Perhaps you can change your testimony to reflect this, Cody? Nope, no, yeah. I took a few shots, but it was too late, so I erased them. How can I pick holes in such a shot? Maybe you didn't dig up the dirt. I don't think you would have erased them. You erased them? Yeah. Why would you erase a picture of your beloved Steel Samurai victorious? Well, you know. Why would I want to keep a picture like that? You have a scrapbook, boy! He's becoming less and less cooperative. I better find a clear contradiction soon, or some solid evidence. How can I pick holes in such short testimony? There has to be something. Dig up the dirt, Phoenix. Find out what this kid's all about. Oh, I already know what I'm doing. Here, we want to present his scrapbook. Objection! Cody! What up? Man, every time you say Cody, you follow it with something bad. I just wanted to thank you for giving me this the other day. Huh? Oh, right. What was it you told me then? I go to every live performance. I always take a picture when the Steel Samurai lands the final blow. Wazam! I got them all. I never missed one. A perfect collection. Oh. Cody? Did you really get a picture of the Steel Samurai standing victorious over his foe? If you did, I find it hard to believe that you would just erase it. Wouldn't you keep it for your album? Mr. Wright? What exactly is this album? It's called Path to Glory. It's a collection of pictures of the Steel Samurai, all taken by Cody Atkins. He claims it's a perfect collection of every battle the Steel Samurai has won. I see. Don't you find this very odd, Your Honor? Among all his pictures of the Steel Samurai, none were taken that day. Liver. Hey, if I get the job, I want a hospital every day for early students because I get the Well, that would work out there. But yeah, I definitely think it'd be early streams probably every day but Friday, truthfully. But yeah, we're both still holding out for your hospital job. Yeah. Any news from your recruiter yet? Or she's fully gone? Order. Mr. Wright, have you an explanation? If the Steel Samurai had just defeated his adversary, I certainly would expect to see a picture of it in this album. Exactly my point, Your Honor. No. Oh, I got caught out on my own thing. Wait, Phoenix? I think we finally discovered the truth. And what a truth it is. But, Mia, are we sure about this? Did he actually... Yes. I'm pretty sure what you're thinking is right. Tell them, Phoenix. Tell them what the truth is. Mr. Wright, please explain to the court what is going on here. It's 8:30 AM my time right now. 9 AM is so typical for days. My job at the hospital is at 6:40 and 6 AM, so I have to wake up and get ready. Oh yeah, that's fair. Obviously you'd have to wake up super early. So wait, so right now it's 8:30 and it's 9:30 PM for me. So you are... Oh, you're 11 hours behind me. Cool. Oh. Where's my face? Okay. I'm making a note of that. I'm shopping with my what's it called? My time zones. Like, but my phone's set for my current time, but my laptop's still set on my Australian time, so I know when to call family. It's shocking. Why was there no picture in the album for the day of the murder? Why would the boy have erased the photos he took? The photos were blurry, he erased them by mistake. Or the Steel Samurai didn't win. Maybe... did he not? But he had to have won. I'm gonna try it. I can think of only one reason, Your Honor. The Steel Samurai didn't win. Ish? Oh, sorry. Yeah, but by the time I wake up, have coffee, take a bath, get dressed, make my bed, and walk 10 minutes to work, I'm thinking I might have to wake up at 4:45. Ish. Yeah, that might work. I mean, yeah, like if you think you can get through it all that time, then yeah, 4:45. Yeah. You mean the Steel Samurai lost? Well, Cody, I'm right, aren't I? Tell the truth. The bad guy defeated the Steel Samurai. But no way. It's impossible. The Steel Samurai never loses. He never loses to anyone, ever. Your Honor. The witness has revealed everything with his words. There was a reason why he lied and told us he didn't take a picture. The same reason he erased his precious photos. For Cody, it was inconceivable that the Steel Samurai could be defeated. However, Cody witnessed the impossible. He saw the Steel Samurai lose. He had to admit what he saw would destroy everything he believed in. That's why he lied and said the Steel Samurai won. He couldn't handle the truth. Order. I will have order. Witness, I mean Cody, is this true? What did you see? Tell the court what you saw. We made him cry, lads. Cody, that day you saw the Steel Samurai lose a fight. Right? Lillibert, I have to make my bed every day, my SB. That's fair. That's fair enough. That would definitely probably mess with you if that's the case. I literally just look behind me at the state of my bed. It's still what it looks like when I fell out of it this morning. I say fell out of it. It's level with the floor. There was no falling. I rolled. Okay. You're right. The Steel Samurai fell down. And then he didn't move. This kid is only like 10. Order. What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? The Steel Samurai was the murderer, not the victim. Yet according to your witness testimony, the Steel Samurai was the one who fell. Mr. Wright, what's going on? Apparently, we have all made a serious error. An error? What's this all about? Hammer was the victim, Steel Samurai was the victim. Steel Samurai was the victim, apparently. If you understand what really happened, it's actually quite simple. At the end of the fight, the Steel Samurai fell to the ground and lay still. In other words, the Steel Samurai was not the killer, he was the victim. Sorry, a little bit. I feel like there's something wrong. Yeah, definitely have to take time for Oliver. You gotta get all those kitty pets in. Ooh. And honestly, what a perfect way to wake up. Just your cat purring with you. It's great. Ooh. Jack Hammer was the Steel Samurai. Boom. Order. So the Steel Samurai in this photograph. You're saying the man in this costume was the victim, Mr. Jack Hammer. That's what I'm saying, Your Honor. Jack Hammer was present at the action scene run through that morning. Thus, he obviously knew about Will Power's foot injury. But wait, hadn't Mr. Hammer gone to Studio 1 already? That's what everyone thought. But remember what Miss Oldbag said in her testimony. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 PM. Did I see poor old Hammer? No. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Mr. Jack Hammer left the employee area after lunch. However, no one saw him going to Studio 1, nor was there a picture of him. He waited for Mr. Powers to take a nap in his dressing room. Then he snuck into the dressing room and stole the Steel Samurai costume. But why would the victim do such a thing? I don't know. I get it. I thought that the Steel Samurai was moving strange. So it was a different person inside the suit. Pops. Me? What? I like... Phoenix is like 24 and we're being called Pops. Jesus. Actually, there was one piece of data I saved. Data? Yeah, a photo on my digital camera. Ooh. What? Show us, quick. No way, man. Not if you're gonna look at me like that. Edgeworth is scaring him. Sorry, Little Right, yeah, I was telling that new friend about my catalyst which was in that and he was like, oh. I agree with your new friend, that is adorable.
I love watching the TikToks of the cats getting tucked in. That is adorable. Agreed. He is correct. Your friend is correct. Here, this is it. Let's see the photo. It's by Studio 2. Well, looking at this, it's still hard to say. I'm afraid that it could be anyone in that costume. Your opinion, Mr. Wright? I agree, Your Honor. This isn't decisive evidence. I'm sorry, this doesn't look like it's the proof we need. I'll give it back. Wait, Phoenix. Mia? What? Look at that photo once more. That's it, Phoenix. That photo is all the evidence you need to win this trial. Cool, want to tell us why? What? Your Honor, may I see that photo once more, please? Certainly. I don't see why not. Phoenix, show him. There's a glaring decisive inconsistency with the facts as we know in that photo. Find the inconsistency in this photo. Okay, before I do, little Bo, he gets reckless and comes to his mother and meows at me, and I'm like, oh, what are you on, Rory? And then it's bedtime for him. Oh, that's so cute. He just announces it for you. Oh. Is it the wait, this photo. Is it which one is? Oh wait, no, he's at Studio 2. The filming was all done in Studio 1. Studio 2 is just the meeting room. Take that! Take that! Your Honor, look at this. I see. A gate. Might I draw your attention to the number on that gate? The number? Ah, yes. Well, it's hard to see, but it looks like a 2? Clearly not a 1, Your Honor, correct? I believe Mr. Edgeworth sees what I'm getting at. But that's impossible. What's this all about? Please explain so I might be shocked along with the rest of the court. I'll use the studio guide map. The body was found here in Studio 1. However, what we do see in this photo taken at the time of the murder, it does not say 1 on that gate in the photo. Your Honor, here's a true scene of the crime. Show the judge where the murder took place. Well, it took place in Studio 2. Oh, look at that. Here, at Studio 2. I see. What would explain the 2 on the gate in the photo? Your Honor, I find it very significant that the murder took place in Studio 2. The trailer is there, the path was blocked, no filming is done there. I mean, that's all true. Oh wait, if the trailer was there, that means the producer and the director could have killed him in that time. As you may recall, there is a trailer in Studio 2. And wait. Ooh! And the body wasn't found until 5, but the monkey head got moved by 4. So they had like an hour to move his body too. Okay. Now on that day, a meeting was held in that very trailer. There was a break in the meeting corresponding to the time of death. During that break, Mr. Salmonella and Miss D. Vasquez was outside eating steak. They were at the scene of the crime. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Sorry, I shook my table with happiness and my TV just shook. Whoops. The path to the trailer was blocked. So we have heard. The path was blocked at 2:15. In other words, the victim went to Studio 2 before that time. Yes, I suppose that would be the case. Remember Mr. Salmonella's testimony. Allow me to remind the court. He said no one in the trailer was guilty because they could not have gone to Studio 1. Yet in actuality, the reverse was true. Only someone in the trailer could have committed this murder. They were the only ones with access to the scene of the crime, Studio 2. Little Bo said, I was at that interview today. Oh, you had the interview today. Ooh. Well, best of luck with that one, and hope it all goes well. Like, I know we're written for the hospital job, but still. Hope the interview goes well and you just have multiple job offers. Order. The defense makes the following claims. The scene of the crime was Studio 2. The person that the security guard Miss Oldbag saw was the victim, Mr. Jack Hammer. Mr. Hammer, for some reason, stole a steel samurai costume. Then he went to Studio 2. Objection! This is madness. Jack Hammer is the victim. The victim. Why would he steal a steel samurai costume? That was a tongue twister. Steal a steel samurai. Are you suggesting he did so to cover up the details of his own murder? Well, no, of course not. Or do you have proof? Give me proof that the victim Jack Hammer stole the costume. Proof? Do we have proof? Yes, we have proof. I have proof. You do? You do, Mr. Wright. Not that they're so surprised, suddenly I'm much less confident. I think I'm right though. Here's my proof that Jack Hammer stole the costume. Obviously not my eternity badge. Dragging one leg. No, that wouldn't be it. How much Global Studios? Murder weapon. Sleeping pills. Maybe? Block the path. Already got that. Nice photos from the scene. Get the camera. Maybe sleeping pills then? Why sleeping pills? Why sleeping pills? Someone would have had to be given the sleeping pills. The only person sleeping was Will Powers, and his room had the costume, so if he was asleep, he wouldn't have woken up for anyone nicking his stuff. This is it. An empty medicine bottle? I found this on the table in the employee area. The same table where Mr. Hammer and Mr. Powers ate. The label reads sleeping pills. Oh my god! Did Mr. Hammer drug Mr. Powers? Oh. Sleeping pills? The defendant, Mr. Powers, spent that entire afternoon sleeping. He was drugged by Mr. Hammer. The victim. Wait a moment. That bottle does raise some suspicions, yes. But there is no proof that Mr. Hammer used it. Your Honour, I have an idea. Test Powers' blood. Fingerprint the bottle, examine Hammer's body. I mean, testing Powers' blood would only show that he had been drugged, not who did it. Fingerprint the bottle. It would, yeah, have Hammer's fingerprints on it. Unless Phoenix obviously didn't wear gloves when he picked it up. Which was most likely, but you know. An idea. Very well, let's hear it. I want to check this bottle for fingerprints. If my claim is true, Mr. Hammer's fingerprint should show up on this bottle. I suppose you're right. Very well. The court will take possession of the bottle. Empty bottle given to the judge. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Cody Hacken's testimony has revealed new possibilities in this case. In fact, things may have happened very differently than we previously thought. The steel samurai seen by Miss Oddbag may have been the victim, Jack Hammer. The scene of the crime was not Studio 1 but Studio 2, and those in the trailer did have time to commit murder. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honour. Your homework is to find the answer to the following question. Why would Mr. Hammer steal the steel samurai costume? Also, who killed him and why? Find the answers for me by tomorrow. That's a lot of homework. Mr. Edgeworth. You will need to reconsider your stance in this case. Above all, you will need to reconsider your suspicion of Mr. Will Powers. As you say, Your Honour. This trial will be extended until tomorrow. This is the last extension. So we have one more trial and then we've done it. Very well. Court is adjourned. Okay. October 19th, 2:47 PM. Okay, so we do have some time to find stuff before tomorrow. Whew. That was a close one. We were saved by a hair, but that's all that counts. I thought seriously about going home about 3 times during the trial. Me too. Really? You both seem so confident. Maybe I should try up a career in acting. I was ready to pronounce you dead about 3 times back then. Me too. Dead? Of course, we're kidding. Are you sure? I wasn't kidding. Now, Mr. Powers, we have to go make our final investigation. But I promise you we'll find the true killer by tomorrow's trial. Right, thanks. To be continued. Sorry, he also had... Oh, you've picked out a laptop ready to get. Nice. Oh, sorry, yes please, I'd like to save. October 19th, 3:27 PM, Wright & Co. Law Offices. Now, I'm going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to disappear for like 2 minutes. So tea and coffee break. Anyone want to make a tea and a coffee and I'll be right back. Yeah, be right back. Sorry. Ayo, I'm back. Oh, excuse me for that interlude. Okay, let's start part 3 of our trial. That was a close one, huh, Mia? Really? Too bad. I'm sorry I missed it. Maya? So, what happened? Well, I think I got a pretty good idea who did it. Either the director or producer. Now all I need is a motive and proof. Wow, good going, Nick. Under the initial trial system, tomorrow is the last day we have. Initial trial? What's that? That's the new court system they introduced 2 or 3 years ago. They had so many cases in the system, they decided to speed the whole process up. So, under that system, trials have to end in 3 days? Yeah, pretty much. That seems ridiculous, but okay. Well, we've no time to waste. I got a coffee as well? Hell yeah! Steel Samurai. I don't get it, Maya. Why would Mr. Hammer steal the Steel Samurai's costume? What? You mean Mr. Hammer was wearing the costume? Yeah. But Mr. Hammer was the victim, Nick. Why would he go through the trouble of stealing it? That's what we have to find out. Oh boy. What happened with the director's testimony? Well, it's pretty clear the producer and the director were both in the trailer. Which means that the killer has to be one of them. Really? Why? Because the real scene of the crime was Studio 2, where that trailer is. What? Was Maya always this excitable? Yes, she was. Well, have you noticed anything that might help us? I can't see what's going on when Mia is here. So no, I haven't noticed anything. Right. Livo, should I wear a dress with pretty houses like for my outfit? Ooh. Yes. Hell yes. Pretty dress, hell yes. My But yes, I highly vote on the pretty dress. What kind of houses? Or they just... Yeah, what kind of houses? Are they like antique looking ones or like Victorian? Oh, okay. Maybe we should go talk to WP. WP, Powers, right. Okay, let's go. October 19th, Detention Center. Vintage houses. Ooh, it's kind of sketched on. Oh, so it sort of looks like. Oh, so the style sort of looks like they're like drawn on. Okay. Maybe. But either way, that'd be pretty dress. That's good. Mr. Wright, you did very well today. Very well again today. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Could you not look like you're about to burst into tears? Wow, Nick, you must have really wowed him in there. Could you wipe that grin off your face? Hey, WP. Only one day left. Let's make it count. Yes. Though there's not really anything I can do to help. Haha, I'm not really sure what I can do either. Please, this is no laughing matter. This is a murder trial. Let's chat. Yeah, I'm not super girly, but I do like dresses. Honestly, I totally get you. But sometimes they're just... They're nice, and they make you feel fancy. So, hell yeah. Vasquez. Could you tell me more about Miss Vasquez? Oh, the producer? She's well respected in the industry. They say she's a genius. A genius? She's been at Global Studios for 5 years now. Right or wrong, nobody dare tells her different these days. Why is that? Oh, why is that? Ever since she came on board, we've had nothing but hits. Global Studios was on its knees, but she picked it up and made it shine. Oh, and what? Nothing. Forget it. I've only heard rumors, anyhow. Right, what about Sal Manella? Can you tell me anything about Mr. Manella? Oh, he used to be a minor straight-to-video director. But something in his work caught Vasquez's eye. She brought the Steel Samurai idea to him. Now everyone knows the name Sal Manella. And yes, that is the director's name. I hear he's pretty much at her beck and call though. Whenever she says jump, he asks how high and all that. I can imagine him being at her beck and call, but I can't imagine him jumping. Mr. Hammer. I was wondering about Mr. Hammer. He was a big star back in the day, right?
then he just dropped out of the face of the earth? Oh, yes, you're right. In fact, he was my role model when I started in this business. But he just stopped taking on big roles. That's when he began appearing in little productions at Global. How could he do that? I was really looking forward to the sequel to Samurai Summer. He just gave up on being a star 5 years ago. Actually, now that I think about it, that was right when Miss Vasquez came to Global. 5 years ago. Okay, we can do that. Where should we head next? Maybe back to the studio for now? Yeah. Studio. Ugh. This lady. The old windbag sure is quiet today. You know, this place is really peaceful like this. Nick? I think her guard's down. Yeah. I bet we could even eat those donuts in the guard station, if we wanted. You eat, you die. Oh, 1 sec. I want that. Woo, she's alive. Okay, let's chat. I was wondering about Dee Vasquez, the producer. Oh, the studio bigwigs love her. So she always gets her way. She seems bitter. Do you not like the producer? Look, the studio people don't want me talking about her, so sorry. Okay, Manila? Can I ask you about Sal Manila, the director? Sal? He's soft, a pushover, does whatever Vasquez tells him to. She treats him like dirt, but I think he likes it. Why would anyone like being treated like dirt? Maya. People have interests. That doesn't make any sense, does it, Nick? No, it doesn't, Maya. Blink twice. Ooh, Pilates! Hell yeah! How long have you done Pilates for? About Mr. Hammer. Ugh! I heard about what you said today, cheeky whippersnapper. Poor old Hammer, you drag his star down from the sky and stomp on it. Calling him a criminal, a thief. I won't forget this. Uh-oh, she's really pissed this time. You listen to me, whippersnapper. My poor old Hammer would never do such a thing. Why would he steal Powers' costume so he could sneak by me? He would never stoop so low, it's impossible. Okay. Employee area. I guess they're not filming today either. Well, one of the stars is dead. Years? Oh. I've been doing Pilates for years. Nice. Wait. I guess. I don't want to see them filming just one more time. This trial will be overdone by tomorrow. You can see them film like that. Yeah, one of the stars is dead and the other is in police custody. How are they gonna film? Really? I guess. This is where you found that bottle of sleeping pills, right? I wonder if there's any other clues lying. Yeah. No touching. Eek. Oh, sorry, pal. Didn't mean to frighten you. Didn't mean? I almost had a heart attack. Guess it can be a little dramatic at times. I suppose it's the actor in me. Dramatique, indeed. Anyway, I'm here to examine the plate on that table. Wait, are you looking for sleeping pills? Yeah, pal. Traces thereof. Chat time. So, you're looking for traces of sleeping pills. How? For a thorough examination, I've got to take the plate back to the precinct. But I have the capabilities to make a cursory examination right here. I highly doubt that you do, Gumshoe. Our science guy gave me some testing solution. This reacts to these sleeping pills, see? If there's traces in it, it'll change colour. Wow, neat! I don't like the sound of this. Even if I highly doubt a science guy would let the detective have this and do it himself. Well, Detective Gumshoe, what are you waiting for? Now, everything in due time, pal. Well, the testing solution on the plate changed colour, alright. So the food on this plate had been laced with sleeping pills. Looks like it. Okay. We have the steak plate. Investigation. How goes your investigation? To tell you the truth, it's a real mess, pal. Some people think we should pursue the case we already have against Powers. And some people think we should switch suspects. What do you think, Detective Gumshoe? Well, pal, I hate to admit it, but I'm not sure I buy the case against Mr. Powers anymore. I feel kind of bad for Mr. Edgeworth, though. How is Edgeworth doing, anyway? Mr. Edgeworth is out of control. He was in the waiting room and he crushed his paper cup with hot coffee in it. Whoa. Talk about burns, pal. Wow, the fury of Edgeworth. Yeah, crushing paper cups. Bottles? Say, whatever happened with the empty bottle? Oh, the bottle of sleeping pills? Well, I got some good news for you about that. They found the victim Jackhammer's prints on the body. Bottle. So that means... Yep, sounds like the one who put Powers to sleep was none other than the victim. So I was right. Little bit, I feel like the full drop off is another job, I'm taking it and then behave back from the school and say yes and no. Sorry, Alfred. Yeah, just totally do that. Like, happens all the time, I'm sure they're used to it. Aha, Penny. Oh, hello. What are you doing here? Oh, I was just cleaning up the dressing room. I guess WP won't be using it anymore, so... What? Why? But WP's innocent. Yes, and I'm really grateful for all you've done. But... this week is the last episode of Steel Samurai. Makes sense? What? No! I was wondering if I could ask you about Mr. Hammer. Yes? On the day of the murder, he went to Studio 2? Huh? I thought he went to Studio 1. He stole the Steel Samurai costume too. What? Why would Mr. Hammer do something like that? Oh. I guess the rumour must be true then. The rumour? Yeah, Miss Vasquez, that producer, had some kind of hold on Hammer. She had some dirt on him. He'll do anything she said, apparently. Some dirt? What dirt? Dirt, you know, bad stuff. I know what dirt means. About 5 years ago, they were filming a movie starring Mr. Hammer. They were using the new studio, Studio 2. Some sort of accident happened during filming. After that, they never used Studio 2 again. They left the film set the way it was, too. The film set? Was that trailer part of the film set then? What do you mean, the last Steel Samurai? I know it's a shock, but nothing can be done to save it now. Main character dead, what do you expect? Whoever really did kill Mr. Hammer also signed the Steel Samurai's death warrant. No. No. Also, I hear that Global Studios is going to change its programming. They're not going to make kids shows anymore. What? Why? I don't know. It's sad, but that's what Global Studios decided. Policy. Why aren't they going to make kids shows anymore? The studio bigwigs don't want the Steel Samurai around anymore. They want to forget all this ever happened. They want it quiet, you understand? But how can they just do that? What about all the kids who love Steel Samurai? It's okay, I'm sure the kids will be fine. They'll find a new hero to follow. No, that can't be true. If the program just ends, they'll be heartbroken for sure. Nick, say something! Yeah. I think evidence rather than words is called probably. Here, take a look at this. Probably the scrapbook, most likely. Take that! And this is... A fan collected all of these photographs. The kids love the Steel Samurai. The show shouldn't be cancelled just so some adults can save face. You would think you would understand that better than anyone. I get where they're coming from, but she's an assistant. I doubt she has any say in this. You're right. Be right back. No worries, no stress. Okay. But what can I do? Well, for starters, you can tell me something. Tell me what it is that Global Studios is so intent on hiding. Tell me about this accident 5 years ago. Okay. Could you tell us what happened 5 years ago? Well, I can tell you what I've heard. Apparently 5 years ago someone died, and it was Hammer's fault. Ooh. Someone died? It was an accident, of course. Anyway, the producer, Miss Vasquez, managed to hush it up. And that's the dirt she had on Mr. Hammer. And that's why Mr. Hammer would do anything Miss Vasquez asked him to do? But it was an accident, right? Why didn't they just make it public? Well, you know Mr. Hammer was a big star back then. They were afraid about what would happen to his career if word got out. I see. You know who knows more about this? Miss Oldbag. She was here at the studios back then, you know. Thanks, we'll try asking her. If she'll talk. Okay. What, you're still slinking around? If you like the place so much, why don't you take over for me? The old windbag doesn't look so good. Everybody's doing their darndest to forget Hammer. Who do they think they made Global Studios what it is today? Hammer. It's all due to Hammer. She's starting to froth at the mouth, Nick. Maybe she should keep a safe distance. 5 years ago. I wanted to ask you about 5 years ago. Who told? Who did you hear that from? Huh? Nichols. Nichols? Nichols. Nick. Penny Nichols. That assistant we talked to? Oh, right. Anyway, we heard about the accident. It was Joe filming with Jack Hammer. He killed a man, didn't he? Oh, that was Phoenix, my bad. Whippersnappers. Dredging up dirt on someone who's passed like that, and the recently departed no less. I suppose you think this is fun? No, I'm just doing my job to protect Mr. Powers. And you claim that Hammer stole Powers' costume? You expect me to believe that rubbish? Or do you have some kind of proof? Proof that Hammer stole Powers' costume? Proof that is... Do I have proof? Yeah. I have proof. Oh yeah, we had the sleeping pills on the steak plate. I can prove that Mr. Hammer stole Mr. Powers' costume. Take that! Mr. Powers ate a T-bone steak for lunch, correct? Well, yes, so? This is the plate that he used to eat that steak. There are traces of sleeping pill powder on the plate. Huh. I bet Powers put it in there himself. Even a lightweight like him might have trouble sleeping sometimes. Except I have proof that Mr. Hammer put the pills in.
Take that!
Boom. Take that, lady. This bottle contains sleeping pills. Mr. Hammer's fingerprints were found on the bottle. I see. Poor Hammer. You did wrong, Hammer. Rest your soul. Miss Oldbag? Okay, you win. I'll talk. I'm tired, see? Tired of holding it all in. Miss Oldbag? You're right. 5 years ago there was an accident. A fatal accident. What's worse, a paparazzi took a photo of it. That photo? Well, it caused quite a stir. And guess who made it all better? Vasquez. She has ties to the mafia. She silenced that paparazzi. That was the beginning. After that, she became a force to be reckoned with here at the studio. I see. But you have to understand, poor old Hammer never meant any harm to anyone. Miss Oldbag? Hold on a minute. Poor Miss Oldbag. Here, take this. A photograph? Oh, that's why the fence was bent. Ooh. Wait a second. This is the picture. Is this the trailer in Studio 2? Hammer was supposed to fight with a bad guy on top of the stairs there with a tennis racket. He pushed the other actor and the man fell on the flower box fence. Oh my god. But how did you get this? It was a long time ago. I don't feel much like talking about it. I understand. Damn. Oh my god. Let's see if we can find Vasquez. Studio 1 entrance. Think back, Nick, to the day of the murder. Mr. Hammer put on the Steel Samurai costume. Then he left from here to go to Studio 2. Right. But why? I wonder if someone called him, like the director or the producer? I mean, we're gonna go find out. October 19th, Studio 2 entrance. Hey, Nick. It's Miss Vasquez. Hello. Hello. H-E-L-L-O. Maya, you should at least try to be polite. I'm watching the clouds. That's all she had to say, apparently. Excuse me, Mr. Hammer came here on the day of the murder and... Shush. I got shushed. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I'm watching the clouds. I'm not interested in talking to you. Do something, Nick. She's really ticking me off. Oh dear. Mr. Powers wasn't the killer. You don't have to cancel the Steel Samurai. I think I'm tired of Steel Samurai. You did it. Nick, she did it. She's the killer. My Fablet speaks to me. I know it. I know it. Oh, welcome back, Lilibet. Oh dear. I was wondering if you could tell me about Mr. Manoa. If you must talk about that man, perhaps you could talk about it in the trailer. By yourselves? Oh dear. Okay, we'll show her the photo. She's not even looking. Where? What? Where did you get that? Well... Old bag? Oh, old? She meets the security lady, Miss Oldbag, Nick. Right. Anyway. Miss Vasquez, you hid this incident from the press, didn't you? And you used it to control Mr. Hammer? The wind. Uh-huh. It's gotten stronger, don't you think? The wind. Your conversation interests me. Let's talk about it more. Inside the trailer. Nick? She went inside the trailer. Well, let's follow. You came. Well then, what was that you were talking about? Why is she so eager to talk all of a sudden? Miss Vasquez, you were using that accident. You were blackmailing Mr. Hammer so you could control him, weren't you? That's why he was doing kid shows for petty change. So I'm a blackmailer now. Well, that's what it was, wasn't it? I mean, sure it was an accident, but you used it to drag Mr. Hammer down from his rightful place as a star. Oh. I haven't pulled anyone down from anywhere. Mr. Hammer's career went sour of its own accord. But! You were the cause! You pressured him! And to think it was just an accident! Excuse me. What is this all about? You keep saying accident. Accident. How are you so sure? What do you mean? Must I spell everything out for you? Think, what would it be if it wasn't an accident? No. No way. You mean Mr. Hammer did it? On purpose? That is what I mean. Where's your proof? Can you prove it? Just think. Would he have let me run his life? 5 years over a mere accident? And I ran him hard, believe you me. But the security lady said it was an accident. Oh? Well, she was a big fan of Hammers, you see. She jumped on the reporter who brought that photo into the studio. She wrenched it out of his hand, she did. Gave him a few bruises, too. So that's why she had the photo. She's an old fool. Of course, all the reporter would need is the negatives. He could have made a copy. But he didn't. The only copy of that photo is the one you hold. Give it to me. What? This is valuable evidence. Boys. Oh, she's got the mafia. Who are they? Professionals. They're good at erasing various things. What do you think? Would you like to be erased? What? The trial ends tomorrow. How unfortunate. It's a shame you'll have to miss it. Tell me why. Why do you want this photograph so badly? This is Mr. Hammer's turn. No. Why should D. Vasquez care about it at all? I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to think about that where you're going. So long, friends. Boys, erase away. No! Don't get killed for a photo. Hold it right there. I heard everything about it. D. Vasquez, you're coming down to the precinct with me, now. Not bad. Very well. It appears this contest will be decided tomorrow then, in court. I'll be looking forward to it. Ooh. Hey, you okay, pal? Sorry I was a little late with my entrance. I don't get many chances to practice that sort of thing. I should hope not. Detective Gumshoe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was really scared. Huh? Don't mention it, pal. Just doing my job. Detective Gumshoe? Sorry, just... I've wanted to say that line ever since I became a detective. Okay, we've got one more job to do today. I'm sure we'll run into each other again soon. Well, Nick, it looks like we're getting close to the bottom of this. And who's at the bottom? D. Vasquez. day.
Readjusted my seat because my butt likes to go dead.
Okay, say please. Okay, should just do the trial. Then that should be it. October 20th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Boom. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honour. Excuse me. No, not happened. The defence is ready, Your Honour. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and the defence will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defence presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was in fact Studio 2. Today, I will call on people present in Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Edgeworth seems a bit on edge today. You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls Miss D. Vasquez to the stand. Miss D. Vasquez is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness state her name and occupation? D. Vasquez, I'm a producer for Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer for Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes. I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. He's not having a good time with his witnesses right now, is he? Very well. Miss Vasquez, please give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. Witness testimony, day of the murder. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 sharp. It ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Van Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you? The van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk, what with the monkey's head toppling over. Okay. I see. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. Oh, hell yeah. We entered the trailer a little before noon. That seems right. Must be a rehearsal afterwards, yep. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Hold on. They said they met with a bunch of producers as well, though. Yes.
Objection!
Steak. Ha! As I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you did not. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. Yeah, there was no bones on the trailer 2 plates. The plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you that it is a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Miss Vasquez and Mr. Manella ate at a table outside the trailer. And there is no bones. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. The plates were bare. Ooh. Miss Vasquez? Tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? You didn't eat the steak. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere, like that incinerator. I see. Then what was Miss Vasquez doing during her break? Killing the victim. Meeting the Steel Samurai. She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order. Are you saying yes, Your Honor? As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai. And then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright? Isn't that a little presumptuous?
Objection!
What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be boring as all the rest. Very well. Let us have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was that murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes. I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon? I think you would have a great deal of difficulty using that as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Ah. You see? Yes. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. Or... but it was. What? Oh no, it was broken earlier. So is it just that? Here? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as the murder weapon. Yeah, it was broken, so it didn't work. I present my proof, the so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon? Not so fast. Remember that this spear broke during the morning action scene run-through? But someone fixed the spear. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who is wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? I mean, yeah, it was breaking, it will break again. Order, order. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what your silence. I'm the one testifying here and I will be heard. Oof. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell, what was? How was the hammer killed? Well, Miss Wright, can you tell us? Yes? Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let's see this murder weapon. have anything else. Hit him with a truck. And he got stabbed. Over the fence.
Take that!
Take that! Look at this photo. What is this? Why, that's Jack Hammer, standing at the top of the stairs. Water, water. If I cannot have water, this trial will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is this all about? This photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident at Global Studios. This is a photo of that very accident. Not a word of this was leaked to the outside. It was a close-kept secret at the studio. What does this have to do with the current case? Ah, oh, that's his voice. Mr. Edgeworth. You still can't see it? See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What? Are you saying... Yes. What happened 5 years ago? Yes, that's happened again. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 2:30 PM on the day of the murder. Miss D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though whenever she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Oh, very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you in my script writing style. You deny that was what I say is true? Mr. Wright? Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned it to the trailer, all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? Ooh, you had the van! The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. So Jack Hammer had been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume. There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She had another way. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? And she also had the director with her. He helped. For instance... Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. In the van. Take that. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1. And you used the studio van to do it. Oh, my neck hurts. Recall your testimony. There was about to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume.
Objection!
Objection! Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? Yes. Of course Sal Manella had to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume.
There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai's costume. They had to because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? So, what happens next? Me? Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean D. Vasquez, so it was you? You killed Jack Hammer. Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright? We just engaged in a battle of wits, and the result of that battle, you proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive power, Mr. Wright. What? Order. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you have no more questions, I'll be leaving. Ugh, what do I do now? You did it? No further questions? How do you no further questions? That's stupid. You did it, Vasquez? Miss Vasquez, you did it. That wasn't a question. Did you do it? No. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? I'm not sure that question helped this court get any closer to a verdict. What do I do now? Testify again? I'd like you to testify again. Testify again? Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? I don't know. You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn. To come so far only to fail. As it seems there are no further questions, I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Mr.
Objection!
What? Yes, Mr. Edward? I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. You tried. I see. Very well.
Objection!
Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does that make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see a little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify?
psychopath. Well, yes, indeed. Verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He's secretly good guy. He's secretly good guy. He probably realised she did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that? But he's lost twice to us now, so... Edgeworth... Okay. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. No, because when the first time we met you, you were still looking for the script. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close, real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she'll be sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her. Right. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady. The assistant was there too. Police. Security lady Oldbag agitated. So we left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script. This one.
Hold it!
You didn't find it. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't have to do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. You could think of rehearsing at home. You wouldn't have known about the murder until you got there, though. Oh yeah, I guess. Very well. Ms. Vasquez, please continue.
Objection!
Your Honour, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Oh, I like Edgeworth. I'm liking it more and more. Huh? Think. Ms. Vasquez says she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before she was going to Studio One. Order. Mr. Edgeworth? What you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand what the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honour. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role in it. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action. You'd still need the script though, even if you don't have action scenes. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to check. Objection! You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was a Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. Oh my god, I didn't even catch that. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through this morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? Yeah. I already said it was Sal who told me. But that's right, he must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Miller was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez, you saw him limping. Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Miller. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah. And when was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2 where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who'd been injured that morning. Order, order. I will have order. Witness? Oh, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Ugh. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yeah, she would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had motive? The incident from 5 years ago? Okay. I have proof and I'll show it to you. The eyebrows law? Wait, whose eyebrows? Wait, take that! This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, yet you have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright, please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder.
Evidence? Do we have evidence? Okay. Allow me to present to the court evidence proving Miss Vasquez's motive. Maybe it's still that one?
Take that!
This is my proof, and this tells us Miss Firth wanted to kill Mr. Hammer. I'd say it all proves is that the defense attorney has completely lost his marbles. Ugh. Mr. Wright, the court requests that you find your marbles immediately, and I'm afraid I have to penalise you for your waste of the court's time. Okay, then maybe you should just have no motive? Nick, we're so close. Think this one through, please. Mr. Wright, I'll ask you again. Please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. She had no motive. She had no motive, Your Honour. What's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. Oh, what? What? Well, that's a bloody turn. It's over? Maybe? Your Honor, Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the steel samurai's costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill Dee Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all those years. Oh, she broke her pipe. So, you did do it, didn't you? Yes. I am guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance. There's blood everywhere. We're too late. Ah, Miss Vasquez. What? What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel? Manuel? Miss Vasquez, please try to remain calm. No, no. How could this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No, Manuel. Manuel! Don't touch him. Miss Vasquez. No! Please, please don't die. Please. So isn't self-defense. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose again. Mr. Edgeworth, where's Dee Vasquez? In the waiting lobby, Your Honor. As calm and collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. It appears you have brought about yet another miracle. Thank you, Your Honor. I think not, Your Honor. Will Powers was innocent. That he should be found is only natural, not a miracle. Yes, you're right. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned. October 20, 1:12 p.m. Defendant lobby number 3. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. I'm just glad you're okay. Yes, but it's sad. I know that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. Bad enough that he wanted to kill Miss Vasquez, but to think that he tried to frame me for murder? It makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Huh? Tell me. Why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? Did he show evidence? I don't know. We wouldn't have limped otherwise. Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because...
Take that!
It's because you were the Steel Samurai. Because I was the Steel Samurai? Mr. Hammer was a big star once, but he was reduced to acting in kid shows, and as a villain to boot. The kids loved the Steel Samurai, and so he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him any time. I think you're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over. So am I. So am I. Congratulations, WP. Oh. Thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more. I can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume and... Oh, he doesn't know. Is something wrong? No, of course not. Nick, Edgeworth. Oh, he looks so grumpy. Say something, Wright. I'm not good at small talk. Huh? What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? No, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gotten away if you hadn't stepped in. Pleased to meet you. I'm Powers. Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers. Ooh. Liar. Okay. Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years. Oh my god, his hair? Yeah, his hair. Meet again? However, in retrospect, it would have been better had we not met. Thanks to you, I am saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Yes, unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kinds of necessary? They only serve to get in my way. You listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's what I came here to tell you. Mr. Wright, was that guy your friend? What? Friends? As if. They're rivals. Rivals. Right, Nick? For now we are, I guess. Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something? Come on, Nick, tell me. What's the deal with you and Edgeworth? We're having a bromance. And so the curtain closed on another trial. I caused quite a stir by revealing the accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back to making kid shows again. Oh, okay. Pink Princess! Nick! This is it! The new show starts today. You're going to watch it with me, right? I'll admit, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it. You have to buy trading cards too, okay? We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again? I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for the real Will Powers. The end. Woo! That had some twists and turns everywhere. Damn. Ooh, this one looks spooky. And Edgeworth looks sad. Okay, let's save this bad boy. Yeah. Okay, so that's case 3. I finished Wright Ace Attorney. Sorted. That was actually pretty fun. What's next? Next, I'm gonna try and get Nancy working again, ready for Friday. I think I found a workaround. I can get it to work if I just run everything off my laptop. So I'll just have to use it as one screen again, and that should work. Yeah, I'm gonna test play it tomorrow. No, tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I was gonna split this case into 1 and 2, and then I just didn't stop. Truthfully, I just kept doing the case. Or oh wait, no. No, scratch that. I'll go for like 2 hours tomorrow. I'll finish unpacking tomorrow. I'll just have a chill stream. A nice chill stream. And then back on Friday with Nancy. So tomorrow, unpacking at the usual time. We'll go at 10. We won't go so early today. We'll go at 10. 10 JST for me, so 9 AM for you. Yeah. Okay. I will catch you tomorrow or later. Yay, friend. Woo. Thank you. I'll let you know. Oh, please do. Please let me know how the interview goes. Obviously, I hope you get all the jobs. Yeah, I hope you're able to pick out which one you want. Oh well, I shall catch you tomorrow. And thanks so much for joining me again today, Lilibo. Thank you so much. Oh, bye bye. My hand doesn't actually wave, so I'll just wave my head. Bye bye.